The Acronym Prestos are coming back in 3 brand new different colorways. The first of which is going to be black, gray, and white. Second of which is going to be white, black, and lime. And finally, most of people's favorite colorway will be the pink and blue multicolored pair. To be specific, like always in these How to Cop guides, we're going to be mentioning some release info and some background information for the sneaker, how to cop the shoe, and of course, some resale predictions for those of you who are interested in reselling the shoe. So on September 20th for $200, we are finally getting to see the new versions of these Acronym Prestos. So for those of you who have been collecting for a few years or so, or even more than that, let me take you back to 2016. So on September 15th for $200, the original Acronym Prestos released. Now, of course, you can see that there are similarities in the colorways, but most notably, all the collaborations with Nike and Acronym revolved around a utility feel with not only a futuristic theme, but actual impressive functionality for sneakers. I think that's one of the things that Acronym goes by as a brand. In fact, that's very similar to one of the previous brands that we just talked about. That was Undercover with Jun Takahashi. Both of these brands definitely think that functionality plays a key role in their product, and it definitely is evident when it comes to these collaborations. Let's take the Prestos for instance. No matter what colorway you're looking at, this is an extremely comfortable sneaker being a Presto, and it's also extremely light, and all Presto mids have the side zipper and great ankle support in comparison to the lows. So it's really no mystery why Acronym chose the Prestos, or say the Vapor Maxes, to choose which design to work on. I think it's very similar to the same reason why Jun actually chose to work on the Undercover React Element 87. Just as is stated on the Nike sneakers website and app, if you go to look at it, you will see that it states technical utility and functional design come into aesthetic harmony. And you guys know how I feel about those really loud shoes, the shoes that pop, the shoes that break some necks. Those are the types of shoes that I really like. I don't know, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. But with that out of the way, why don't we jump to the how to cop portion of the video. The first thing I wanted to mention for copying the sneaker is something that is often slept on because people feel like they don't really have a chance, but this isn't true at all. So I just wanted to mention to you guys that there are so many raffles for these sneakers. It is insane. In fact, to make it very easy for you guys, I actually linked them all on my Twitter. My Twitter is KeithAdam10. If you go check out that tweet that is pinned up there, if you click on it in the replies, there's so many that I had to make 2 separate replies just for the rest of them. But if I were you personally, I would just take some time, take 20 to 25 minutes or so, sit down, relax, and just fill them out. It should be super easy if you have autofill already set up, that of which we'll talk about later. Most notably, some of the raffles would include end clothing, sneakers and stuff, foot district, but again, there's a ton of these things. And I actually did mention this in one of my How to Cop guides last week. So basically, guys, when it comes to these prepaid raffles, such as SNS, end clothing, and I think there's one more up there that's prepaid, you guys have to make sure that you call up your credit card provider and say that it's okay, that you're expecting charges from these companies. You should be good for 30 days or so. I believe for American Express, it's infinite, but then for Chase, you have to do it every 30 days or so. It's definitely a nuisance, especially because this is exactly how I lost my Nigel ones. If you were unaware, I won the Nigel ones off of End Clothing, but it saw it as fraud for some reason, so I ended up not getting them, unfortunately. Also, if you do happen to have a PayPal, I definitely would recommend using that as well, but you know, it is always smart to make as many entries as possible, and for that you're going to need different payment methods. So therefore, I would recommend using all credit cards, calling up the providers just to make sure you're safe. So with the raffles out of the way, feel free to sign up for them after this video, but now let's move on to the first come first serve store list. The first store I wanted to mention was Overkill. Overkill will be releasing these on the 20th at 3 a.m. Eastern time. Now, my number one tip when it comes to any online first come first serve release is that you must set up autofill. I was talking about this before. It's not only going to help you with raffles, but it makes checking out a breeze. It makes it so simple, it's actually incredible. And if you guys want, you could get some add-ons, but you really don't need them. For Google Chrome, just go to the top right corner of your screen, click on the 3 dots, then click on settings, scroll down, find advanced settings, click on that, and then scroll down just a little more, click on autofill, fill in all your personal information, your name, your email, your phone number, your address. Then you want to add your credit card information mentioned, don't worry, it's definitely secure, it's safe. The only thing that you'll usually have to fill out is your state, because usually you have to scroll and select that. Then also your security number. All you got to do is type the first letter of your name or the first letter of your credit card number if you're at that point. Then everything will become highlighted. There will be an option that pops up. All you got to do is click on that and it will automatically fill in all your info for you. It's beautiful. Anyway, other than Overkill, we also have Hanen Shop. Hanen Shop just posted on Instagram that they are going to be getting these at 3 a.m. Eastern time. Now, unfortunately, as of now, there is no product page for these shoes. Now, what I would recommend to you guys is at 259. If there is no product page still for these, I would have Acronym searched up there, or maybe Presto would work too. I would probably go Acronym just in case. And once you search that, you just hit enter and possibly the product page would come up then. Anyway, moving on to the next one though, at 4 p.m. Eastern time, the day before on the 19th actually, Holy Pop will be getting these. Now, I am familiar with Holy Pop store, and I do know that occasionally they switch to Italy only shipping, and this is usually around like last minute. As of now though, it's looking like it's going to be US shipping. Of course though, if anything changes and you're in the US, or if you're anywhere else other than Italy, like Europe or Canada, trying to buy these things, it's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern time, so it doesn't hurt to try. Moving on to the next one, UBIQ will be releasing these at 10 a.m. Eastern time on the 20th. Now, unfortunately, this is the same time for US Nike sneakers, and this is definitely an issue that they're releasing the same time as Nike sneakers US for those of us in the US, and we'll talk about that later. Then also moving on to the next one, we have Titolo releasing these at 3 a.m. Eastern time. Now, since there's a couple of stores releasing these at 3 a.m. Eastern time, I would prioritize Overkill over Titolo, just because I'm not personally familiar with Titolo. I have gotten lucky on Overkill. I just haven't yet had a chance to try on Titolo, so who knows? If you want to, feel free to give it a shot. I'm personally going to be sticking to Overkill though. Now, of course, there are more first come first serves that are probably going to pop up. It's pretty early right now. I'm recording this at like 3 days out from the release. I am expecting more of these first come first serve stores to pop up, but in all honesty, guys, I really don't think it matters, simply because as a manual user, you could only be in so many places at once. So I think that these stores should be adequate for you guys to try. If any more pop up, I'll try my best to let you guys know, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. The last store I wanted to mention wasn't actually a first come first serve store. It's more of a queue. This is Soulbox. As you guys know, Soulbox always releases at 3 a.m. Eastern time, and all you really have to do for Soulbox is just keep the queue running in the background. Focus on all the other first come first serves at 3 a.m. Eastern time. Keep this running in the back. I am familiar with the site, and I know that they track IP addresses. You could take your chances and use the multiple people jig. Just use different Chrome users. You do risk getting IP banned temporarily off there, but if you want to play it safe, use different devices on long-term evolution so they're using data and they're not connected to the same IP. So with Soulbox out of the way, why don't we move on to Nike sneakers? So luckily for us, at least for these Acronym Prestos, we don't have to deal with too much stress just because there's no shock drop for these. They're right on the launch calendar. They've been there ever since that one scratch release for the multicolor Acronym Presto where you had to scratch the original colorway and reveal the new colorway. I thought it was a unique thing to do for them. But anyway, they've been scheduled for the 20th at 10 a.m. Eastern time. I believe Europe is either 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. Eastern time, and the same thing goes for Canada. And again, this is going to be a Leo drop. We really haven't seen a draw in a very long time. I believe that the last draw we saw was actually for the Air Force One sales, and that was a long time ago. So it looks like all these new drops are going to be Leo drops, which basically means is that it appears to be like a first come first serve, but the only difference is that when you try to buy the shoe, instead of just saying you got them or whatever, it will say pending for 5 to 10 minutes or so, sometimes less than that if there's not a lot of stock. Basically, at this time, Nike is selecting random people's payment to accept. The funny thing about these random drops is I could get in immediately on my phone, but it'll be my third account on my computer where I actually get in. So I would recommend using as many accounts as possible. I think one of the unique things about this release, one thing that really gives me a lot of confidence for this release, is because there's 3 colorways releasing. So obviously, say you have 5 accounts or even 10 accounts, you multiply your chances by 3 now. That's ridiculous if you ask me. You might not get your favorite color, but you're still probably going to get something. I have a lot of confidence for this release, guys. I really feel like I'm going to regret saying that. Mark my words. I bet you I'm not going to cop, and I'm going to regret saying this. But anyway, just wanted to make one thing clear. When you do use multiple accounts for Nike sneakers, I recommend only using 3 accounts per IP address. If you want to use any more accounts, I would suggest setting up a hotspot on your phone, so then you would have a different gateway. Say I'm using 6 6 accounts. I'll have 3 accounts on my normal IP address, then I'll have 3 accounts with the hotspot. But anyway, that is how to cop them. I wish you guys luck, but now let's move on to some resale predictions. So one thing I wanted to mention for these, I think a lot of you guys should know this, do not expect resale to be as crazy as they were before. In fact, it's very obvious right now, as you can see what pre-sale numbers are looking like. It's nothing bad by any means, especially considering the shoe is $200, but don't expect them to be going for those $600 to $800. So as a conservative estimate, I always like to keep it low just in case. I would say they're going to range from $300, $350, maybe $400. Now I know that right now the multicolor one seems to be going for the least amount of money. However, I do believe that that will be the one that ends up going for the most money, simply because right now they're not going for a lot because of that scratch drop. If you guys aren't familiar with that scratch drop, that was the only colorway that released out of the bunch. So right now there's a couple of pairs in circulation and people are trying to get them off their hands before prices dip even more, which is a smart move. But then again, there's always the chance that they might even rise even more when people realize how limited these are. Anything's possible, guys. But even as a conservative estimate, I am going to say that no matter what colorway you get, they're still going to be profitable. I would recommend going for these 100%. But I mean, you guys know me. I like these loud shoes. I like the crazy stuff. So I'm definitely going to be going for these shoes for personal. Let me know what you guys think about the shoes down in the comments below. I'm kind of interested to know what you say just because these are so out there and so wild. But with that, feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, if you perhaps learned a thing or two. Also, feel free to subscribe and turn on post notifications to stay 100% updated on these and any other hyped shoe releasing in the future. With that though, I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day and good luck.
I should have run the other way. Now there's just one thing to say. Get your foot off my foot. Ah.
Get your foot off my foot. Yeah. Get your foot off my foot. Oh.